In this picture, I have not been able to show that part. But in the human mind, as you all know, there are different stratas of consciousness. Now you are listening to me, paying attention to me. Your chitta is towards me. This attention is the conscious mind. You know that. You are conscious of what I am speaking. Moment to moment you are listening to me. This present moment now, at this moment as it is, it's slipping, is becoming the past, and the future is coming in view. Every moment is disappearing and a new moment is coming. You cannot stop the present. You cannot stop your attention at present. Now, to be at this moment, you cannot be. That's the difficulty. You either think of the past or of the future, but you cannot think of the present of this moment. So, we have our past and our future. In a simple word, the past they call it as subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, they call it as psyche. Sometimes I don't know what do they mean by psyche. They are so confused. But we have a subconscious strata in which we store all that we collect, experiences, conditionings, everything. This work is done by the left-hand side channel known as Ida Nadi, which is worked by the power of Mahakali. Now this word should not shock all the English-knowing scientists. This Mahakali power works. The storing of all the experiences, all the thoughts that are coming to you from the present into the past is done by Mahakali power. Thinking of the future, planning of the future, organizing the future is done by the right-hand side power of Mahasaraswati, which acts through the Pingala channel. In the gross form, they are expressed left and right sympathetic nervous systems. But for a doctor, both the systems act simultaneously. They are so interconnected that it is very difficult for them to verify two different functions which are allotted to them, because the ways and methods are so gross. The left side attends to our emotional being, the lower left side to our physical, we can say psychosomatic side, the right side, the lower, to our physical being, and the upper right side to our thinking. The center channel of Sushumna is a completely independent system which works out our sustenance. In the beginning, when a person wants to drink, he vomits. All the parasympathetic activities are performed through the subtle action of this channel known as Sushumna, and the power that acts is known as Mahalakshmi. This power evolves us. It gives us dharma, is a sustainer. The complete periodic table, if you have studied chemistry, is amazingly organized. The carbon is placed as a tetravalent element with 4 hands, just like a Ganesha. I do not want to go into the details of the periodic table, but it is so well organized that every atom of every element has to have the last circle with 8 protons. If they are less or if they are more than 4, they either become the negative or the positive elements. What a tremendous planning it is. And when we say there is no God, we must understand such a tremendous planning could not have been achieved by just chance. It doesn't work out by that law of chance. All right, forget about God, because suddenly if you talk of God, the scientists get a shock. But He exists. And these are His 3 powers which perform these 3 actions in our being. By the first, we build up our past. By the second, we build up our future. And by the center, the Sushumna Nadi, we exist in the conscious mind. The problem of future and past is created for human beings by a special method. As I told you yesterday, that this brain assumes a shape of a prism, and that when these powers enter into the brain, on both the sides, they lose part of it. The one that enters from the right hand side passes to the left hand, losing something on the left hand side. This one is the Mahakali power, which loses outside. This one is the reaction to the past. You see someone, I see this gentleman. Suddenly I remember of my past experiences with him. The whole past of him comes to me through that power. And as a reaction, I develop a superego, a conditioning in my brain, which I have shown on the other side, like a balloon. I'll give you a simple example to understand a superego and an ego, how it develops in a little child. A child is nursed by the mother, and he is in complete joy, one with the mother, enjoying fully. Suddenly, the mother removes the child from one side to another side. He doesn't like it. The child doesn't like it. And he puts down his foot there. That is the development of ego. He asserts himself. Ego develops gradually on the left side in the brain, but comes forward. When the child is then corrected by mother, She says, don't do like this. He is conditioned. By that, he accepts it. And a superego as a reaction develops on the right hand side of the brain from this side and covers it gradually at the age of about 12 years, because language is another way by which they are strengthened. And here, when they meet completely, a man is made into an egg, and articulation takes place. Everyone develops a separate personality. He is Mr. So-and-so, he is Mr. So-and-so, he is Mr. So-and-so. And the misidentification start. There are many misidentifications we suffer from. We call them mithya. We know they are mithya. Our name. I have known people, somebody's name was Dharamdas, and he was the greatest adharmi ever born. There are so many misidentifications. We are attached to our name. If somebody says that you, Mr. So-and-so, you are a very bad man, one feels very hurt and bad. His ego again comes up. What do you say? This was my name. We are attached to so many misidentifications all our life. The mithya starts collecting, and we become covered with so much of that misidentification. Our ego and superego completely overlap all our wisdom. So the ego is created as a byproduct, I can say, or you can say by the activity of the right hand side channel. The fumes of that activity, like in a factory, are collected in the ego. And the activity of the left hand side collects the superego. And that's how you have ego and superego developed in your brain. So that is how the human being is. He has got his Mahakali power, which is looking after his subconscious activities. His Maha Saraswati power, which is looking after the supraconscious activities, and his Mahalakshmi power, which is looking after the conscious activities. Now, there are regions which lie beyond this, about which we are not aware. On the left hand side, beyond the Mahakali region, lies the collective subconscious mind. The collective subconscious mind, where all that is dead is collected. That is the collective subconscious. Beyond the Mahasaraswati channel, beyond this region, lies the collective supraconscious mind. We are part of that also, though we are not conscious of it. We are not conscious of it, so we can call it, it's still unconscious to us. Now, beyond the central path of Sushumna, beyond the conscious mind, lies the collective consciousness. That is the all-pervading consciousness. Which we know as Satchit Anand, is all-pervading.